So, are you ready to hear all about the major stirrups that are coming this week for the week of August 22nd? Ooh, well, let's dive right into what the guides have to say and what light language is going to come forward to help you move with your intuition, your power, and your soul. Welcome to Magic Bringers Rising Chats, a show by Super Secret Powers. I'm your host, Lindsay Baldessano, and let's get ready for a dose of energy healing, channeled guidance, and humor to keep your intuitive flow open and your roots grounded so you can lead the life of healing, spiritual purpose, and magic that you want. Let us dive right in. I have my notes here, and we're as quiet as we're going to get here in this house, especially for such a crazy week coming. So, first, we have Uranus going retrograde. Dun dun dun. um, all right, so Uranus, god of lightning, is in the house of Taurus. So, in the house of home, career, your life foundations, money, um, even nourishment, things things that really support and fuel your life can get a shakeup this week. And I think you've probably already felt what stirrings might be coming up, because this seemed to have really intensified last week, with big new ideas coming up, with shakeups coming up, with like messages, let's say, even if they seem like problems or challenges, but messages about how we can be better supporting ourselves, in this here and now, especially this crazy here and now. And if you listen to last week's video, we talked about how, we have like 4 years left of this specific Uranus transit. And so, now is really the time to dig in. Now is the time to, look at some things and really face them so we can make the commitment and the reprioritization that's needed in order to, really make these next 4 years count towards something sustainable for you, like well into retirement. Okay, if you're my age, well into retirement. If you're not my age, if you're a little bit younger than me, that really set you up to expand your sense of home, and that you have your own life and that you're living toward the life of your dreams. So, let me bring my microphone closer here because I didn't do that when we started. This is really the key words that come up for me after scanning some articles, just to make sure I was, on topic and not providing you with misinformation. But the key words that come up are like reckoning of mismanagement, and that comes with time, the time you spend at things, and energy, your personal sense of energy, which then also includes boundaries and relationships. Um, so it might not have to be a prioritization or a reckoning that happens on the external level, though with Uranus and Taurus, wouldn't doubt that, something externally might trigger some of this. And ultimately, it asks you where your commitment is and where your priorities are and where you need them to be, especially for building those strong foundations that these next 4 years. I mean, this shift has been going on since 2018. So that includes the pandemic, recession, not recession, supply shortages, staff shortages. It includes all of that. And so another 4 years to make it right for you, another 4 years to make sure that you're making the choices you need to make so that you have a solid foundation. And next week, coming up, we have, I'm sorry, I totally skipped this weekend. This weekend, we have New Moon in Virgo. So, with that in mind, what really comes forward is, of course, reseeding your goals and your intentions. But I think also what's going to come forward this week with these energies is also expectations, the resetting of personal expectations for self, what you want to see of yourself, what you want your life to be about, those very foundational, why am I doing this and why am I here and why am I living this way kind of questions. All right. Oh, so next week now, next week in the cosmos, we are gearing up for a Mercury retrograde, of course. Of course, because it's pre eclipse season. These things always, or at least for the last 5-10 years, have been happening kind of in conjunction with each other, which is why I really tend to see like eclipses as eclipse season. So now we're doing the prep work to head into eclipse season in October and November of this year. All right. And now we're going to switch over to more of the messaging part, what the guides really want us to know. This is more of a spoken portion, things I picked up and put down and been thinking about when I'm doing the prep for this. And then lastly, we'll transition into the light language portion, which is probably going to be intense. It's going to be intense. I already feel a lot of things wanting to come through. Um, but we will deal with that when we get there. So, what the guides want us to know. Uranus brings strong energies. I mean, let's not shy away from it or try couching this in terms of, well, this is only ever for our betterment. Well, I mean, of course it is, but we have to choose it. So, if you were doing the work that we were talking about last week, really grounding in to receive nourishment, you might not go into this energy period, feeling quite as exhausted as you might have if you just kind of let yourself run and work and try and do all the scramble before school starts and the season shifts and like the new business quarter opens up and all that. um but this has already been percolating through the collective unconscious, of course. Already the shift is already coming into more and more influence as we go closer to the 24th, which is when Uranus finally stations retrograde. So I know I've noticed, and here's the question for you: when last week, or have you noticed uh, people starting to drop off already? Drop off of online, drop off of the regular schedule, maybe get a little bit more inward. Have people stop responding as easily as they were like over the summer or like 3 weeks prior? When did you start to notice that drop off, if you noticed it? Or, people just running into major life situations now. Maybe they suddenly have to move because they have to find some place with better rent, or maybe they have to make some, major kind of life decision about what they're going to do with their career. Um, when did you start noticing that popping up in your uh, webs of relationships with people? So put it in the comments. When did that happen for you? And the big picture guide version of this is that these energies are really bringing some big life choices back to the forefront of our minds and of our attention. Like we're getting this window of opportunity in which to start choosing something new, expanding our vision of ourselves and what we expect from ourselves, and opening the window to what we think we're capable of, what we think we're capable of sustaining, maintaining, or even growing into. Because remember, we got 4 years to work on this. This isn't about necessarily the next 6 months, though human experience here. Aim for making the next 6 months the best they could be with the choices you have before you, but also really keep good tabs on which of those choices are not going to be sustainable in the long run, so you can better ease into a transition, so you don't get to a chaos or crisis life point where everything is up in the air and like maybe you have to sleep on a friend's couch or something. you know, we can head a lot of this off at the pass if we can be open to what the message is trying to show us about where our life foundations are at this point in time. And these aren't the kind of choices like you'll want to run from in the long run or you'll want to hide from in the long run, because you'll spend so much more time worrying and stressing and spending your time trying to band-aid the situation that you won't have the energy, the mental clarity or energy, because all of this kind of decision making is very tiring. I mean, expect to be tired this week. Expect to feel like you've been run over. And if you don't feel that way, you don't feel that way. That's then, then you're good to go and you're good to move forward. But it probably also means that you've been making these decisions and there's nothing big that has to be shaken up. Because the sooner we can face the emotional reality of where we're at and what choices are before us, the sooner we can start re-solidifying and recommitting to the process of making sure that everything around us is in at least okayness. And I know that seems so very hard given the people, the collective position right now. But that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities out there. It just means that perhaps you have to reimagine what you're doing. Rephrase it even. Um, for some of you, it might just take a rephrasing. Like, why am I doing this? Because I value my freedom more than I value, um, really investing into my IRA at this time because I need to get through this period. But build in some, rules of thumb for those moments later on, 6 months down the line, because that kind of solution isn't a long-term solution for when you definitely need to start shifting things, like consciously shifting things to start finding what's going to set you up for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So as we come into the light language portion of this, they want you to ask you to be open to what else is possible. What else is possible for you? What else is possible about you? What else is possible for the collective? What else is possible? And what else is possible about your situation that perhaps you didn't see before? We're gearing up here to do the light language portion. Finish the clearing and seeding for your energies so that new possibility can come forward into your conscious mind. Pay attention to dreams this week. Even if they seem scary, they are pointing toward the healing of anxiety triggers, which lead you to understanding where your choice comes from. This is not a block. This fear is not a block. This fear is a signpost to any new perception of what you can do, what can be done. Now we are pulling your energies, helping strengthen connection to divinity beyond masters, teachers, angels, allies, helpers, loved ones. So your vision can become clear. Action, decision, energies that will help clear the karma, stress, and worry of the now can come through. Knowledge of the past, knowledge of the parallel. Integrating. reforming you, rebuilding you, clearing the way. Clear vision of the actions needed, decisions needed, choice points needed, ones that feel clear and light and full of love and joy. Aligning you with those potentials so you will know it when you feel it and see it and experience it. So you will know what needs to be released, what is safe for you to release at this time. For new patterns will need to be formed, new memory, new habit. And we will leave this here and know this is seeding in, and that it may take a few rewatchings to tune into this and feel it working. We do this for you, for the collective, for all who will listen. Blessed be. Cool beans. All right. Ooh, shaking that off a little bit so I can get back in my body and maybe go play some video games later. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with us and experiencing that and being part of the awakening. All right. Love you much. See you next week. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to Your Super Secret Powers on Facebook and YouTube. And I think I'm just under Lindsay Balda on Insta.